everyone, thanks for stopping by. My name is Felicia. If this is your first time or if you're a recent subscriber, thank you guys so much for tuning in and for joining my plant life everything journey with me. I really appreciate it. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys the process of me bringing my plants from the outside back inside. And I know it probably sounds simple, like, yeah, you're just going to bring it inside, but there's a lot of prep work that kind of goes into that, because if you're bringing your plants from the outside back inside, or maybe you're bringing them inside for the first time, your plants have grown accustomed to that natural sunlight, that natural humidity, all of the elements that comes with plants really thriving outside. So one of the things you really want to do, if this is your first time bringing your plants inside, or maybe you just purchased plants over the summertime and you're going into the cooler months for the first time, you really want to do your best to mimic that outdoor environment inside. So that's what I'm going to show you today. I actually only have 4 plants outside. I have 3 rubber trees, my burgundy, ficus elastica. I also have my taniki and my ruby plants out there. So I'm going to be bringing those inside in addition to my aloe plant. So again, make sure you're really replicating that outdoor environment, whether you're putting them in front of a window that gets a ton of sunlight throughout the day, or in my case, using grow lights. I've shared in past videos before that in my current environment, I don't get a ton of direct sunlight throughout the day. In fact, I only get maybe like a couple hours of direct sunlight only in the mornings, and then that's it. So because of that, you know, I didn't want that to deter me from purchasing plants, because I love my plants, clearly, right? So I decided to just get some grow lights, and I'll show you some of my grow lights later, and I'll even leave a link to the grow lights that I use in my description box, because they've really helped my plants out a lot, because like I said, I don't get a ton of light. So again, when you're bringing your plants from outdoors back inside, you want to make sure you're giving your plants as much, light, whether it's natural or artificial light, as possible. And you also want to make some room within your home. If you have a small space like I do, there's some extra things that I want to do to make sure that the plants can fit comfortably within my environment. And then in addition to that, with your plants being outside, they've been exposed to not only light, but probably rain, dust, wind, all of those elements that probably has your leaves looking a little dusty, right? So I'm definitely gonna give those leaves a good shine before I bring them inside. And also, probably the most important thing, or at least important to me, is bugs. When you're bringing your plants indoors, make sure you inspect your plants very well. So make sure you're looking through the dirt, making sure you're checking those leaves to make sure you're not bringing any pests inside your home. In my case, my plants were on a balcony and they weren't like in a backyard or anything, so I don't anticipate there being much bugs or anything that I'm bringing inside, although I have been seeing quite a bit of lantern flies here in my area. I don't know if any of my fellow Jersey residents, or anyone for that matter, have you guys been seeing the lantern flies around? I was outside on my balcony this morning drinking coffee, looking at my plants, and a lantern fly, like no lie, was making a beeline towards me. So I ran back inside. Again, don't like bugs of any kind, which is funny because I'm a plant owner. So I've gotten used to some types of bugs over the last several months, but still don't like them. I'm definitely gonna inspect my plants to make sure I'm not bringing any pests inside my home. All right guys, we are now outside, and I'm really hoping that you can hear me. If you can't hear me very well, I'll just do a voiceover for this section. So here are each of the plants that are outside, and I don't have them all huddled like this in this little corner. I have them really spread out throughout my balcony, but just for the sake of privacy, I decided to bring them over here. I'm sure you guys understand. So here are each of the plants. So here in the front, we have my ruby, which has grown quite a bit since I brought it outside. Right here next to it is my beautiful aloe plant, and this one is growing so much, and you see how it has this little like offshoot here on the side. So I'm trying to figure out, and there's one growing there in the middle. I'm trying to determine if I should break that piece off and kind of separate it. I think I might just leave it as is, to be honest. Behind that, I have my burgundy right there. And then next to that, I have my taniki, which has really grown quite a bit since being outside. So as I mentioned before, one of the things I really want to do is inspect my plants. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start with the ruby down here at the bottom, just kind of taking a look at it. I don't know what these little things here are. It doesn't feel like hard. I feel like it looks crazy on camera. There's nothing going on the underside of the leaf, so I'm really not sure why those leaves look like that. I'm just kind of inspecting it. I don't really see anything too alarming outside of the leaves being pretty dusty, so I feel comfortable bringing it inside. I'm going to take it out of this little pot here and get a closer look. So just looking at the dirt, everything looks pretty good in there. I don't see any creepy crawlers or anything. So again, I'll probably spray it with some neem oil and really give the leaves a good rub down before I bring them inside. So this one looks good, and this one can go ahead and come on inside. No issues there. All right, next up is my aloe, and just really gonna get into the center. I don't really see anything going on in there. Everything looks okay. Now you'll notice I have some decorative rocks in here, which is really kind of preventing me from really taking a closer look at that dirt. So I'll remove those off camera and really take a closer look. I think I may have put those decorative rocks in there to deter flies from getting to my soil. That's one thing I still kind of struggle with till this day is those fungus gnats. So I think that's why that's in there. But clearly it hasn't prevented this plant from growing, so I'll leave them in there. Hasn't been doing it any harm. Next up I have my taniki. Alright, so next up is my rubber tree, and this is what this one is looking like. Let's see what's going on underneath this leaf here. I'll kind of explain those random scrapes on the leaves in another video, because those are totally my fault, especially that right there. Shaking my head at myself. Okay, so again, this one, it's just regular dust. Before I whipped out my camera, I took a closer look at that just to make sure it wasn't spider mites, and it is not, thank goodness. Just really getting up in there. Again, see how dusty those leaves are? Alright, I don't know why this leaf looks like that, all spotted. I'm hoping that's not spider mite damage. Let me know what you guys think down below. I just kind of noticed that one day and I was like, okay, what is that? I'm gonna have to do some research on that. All right, and then taking a look at the soil. Let's see what's going on in here. I don't see anything creepy crawly going on. The soil is pretty dry, as you can see, so I'll give that a good water. Everything else looks pretty kosher. Back inside because it was just way too noisy on my balcony. I originally planned to do this on the balcony, but again, way too noisy, and I figure I can just come inside, speed up this portion. But I first wanted to show you what I'm going to use to clean the leaves. I'll be using some good old-fashioned neem oil mixed with a little bit of water, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this already has a little bit of neem oil in there, but I'm just going to spray them both onto a cloth and wipe each individual leaf. I'm going to get started with the burgundy plant just because it's the biggest one, and I figure why not get the biggest one out the way, so the other three will be pretty easy to go. So let's jump right into it. All right guys, so I'm moving on to the next portion of my outdoor to indoor process. Told you guys it was going to be a process, but of course, with the beauty of editing, it doesn't seem that way for you guys, or at least I really hope it doesn't. You guys have seen my plant stand before in previous videos. I've shown you guys an indoor tour, and I've since moved around a lot of my plants since that video. So now I'm going to make some room for the plants that I just brought indoors. You're probably wondering, where am I going to put the rubber trees, especially the burgundy rubber tree, because it is way too tall to fit on the stand. I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do. I'm just going to adjust my shelf to make some room for that tree. I'm also going to give it a good rub down because it is pretty dusty right now, so stay tuned for the next portion. Here is where I place 3 of the 4 plants. So on this end, I have the ruby ficus elastica. I have my recently staked scindapsus. I have my aloe plant down here, and then I have the taniki. Off to the side, I have my burgundy. That's why I decided to place it. Probably wondering, okay, you decided to place these 3 plants that was enjoying full direct sun on the bottom shelf, but what I'm going to do is add a grow light to the top shelf right above it, similar to the grow lights that I have here, which I purchased on Amazon. I'll leave a link below to those lights. I'm going to put another one here at the bottom of this shelf, so these plants here at the bottom will receive that direct light. Here is the box with the lights that I got from Amazon, if you want to go and look it up. Here's a closer look at those light strips. So it's by the brand Most Stink. And again, I will leave it down below in the description box. So it comes with 2 light strips, 2 individual light strips, as you can see here. You can use it either with a USB, if you have that directly, or it also comes with the base, which is convenient. It comes with these zip ties, so depending on what you're attaching it to, you can either attach it using the zip ties. It also comes with 2 little sticky strips, which is more than likely what I'm going to use. And it also comes with some screws. As you can see here on the sides, there's areas where you can also screw them in. So depending on what you're using it for, again, if you're putting it on a glass surface, a wooden surface, it's nice that it comes with these 3 options for you to install it. So let's go ahead and install these bad boys.